And now, we'd like to feature.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Red Hot Underdogs, where we talk everything sport and nothing about sport at the same time. I'm Anzac, and with me tonight is the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, and never duplicated. It's Tszyu.
Hey, how you going?
Pretty
Well,
good.
what's up?
It's been a bit of a fucking annoying weekend. I got the box of tissues for Manly.
Mm.
And Tszyu losing. Firstly, what do you want to talk about first? What do you reckon was more disappointing?
Look, I think we talk about the boxing first. I think Tszyu was more disappointing because guess what? Manly get to play next week and the week after and the week after that.
Yeah,
Tszyu cops a loss. He
yeah,
goes straight down the pecking order.
yeah.
And,
But is it down
you
the pecking
know,
order? Because if he's got that, rematch clause,
yeah, I think he's got the rematch clause. I think it'll be exercised, but it really then becomes do or die because, once you lose a rematch, you never get a shot at the next person again because no one wants to see you fight the person 3 times in a row, particularly if
Yeah.
you've lost twice.
Yeah,
And everything's on the line.
yeah,
Not only that, you don't just come back the next week and then you're there.
yeah,
There's training camps. It takes up to 5 months for another fight usually,
yeah,
or 4 months
yeah,
at
yeah,
at the minimum these days.
yeah.
So, it was
But I mean,
yeah, disappointing.
yeah, it was just annoying that cut on his bloody head that happened. I think was it at the end of the second round or start? Yeah, it was
It
right at
was at
the
the
end of
end
the
of
round.
right at the
Yeah,
very end of the second round.
second
Before
round.
then, I had him winning both of the
Yeah,
first 2 rounds.
yeah,
There
yeah,
wasn't much in it, but he seemed to be controlling the action,
yeah.
and it changed the whole complexion of the fight
It did. Yeah,
because all of a sudden he had this cut with blood rolling into his eyes round
yeah,
after round after round.
yeah.
It was
And
like somebody throwing a paint bomb at him, a red paint bomb.
yeah,
There's just blood everywhere on both guys,
and
but it was all
Fundora
coming from
was bloody too. His nose, which isn't nearly as
yeah.
bad as in your eyes, you know.
Yeah, it was coming from his nose and mouth, and that was the difference. Kazoo had the power,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Fundora was the volume puncher.
yep.
And what happened when Zoo got that cut
Mm.
above his head, unfortunately, that presented it was like Fundora's Christmases had all come at once.
And just say
Because that then
it
meant
wasn't a cut due to, a punch,
a
or it was
punch,
just
no,
a unlucky.
accidental elbow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was while they were fighting, it was an accidental elbow.
yeah,
And all of a sudden, that meant that Fundora, all he really needed to do for most of the fight was then just throw jabs from a distance at a
which he
large
did.
quantity because
Which
Zoo couldn't see. And
yeah,
that's right. And he could open up the cut.
yeah.
And
And then
it was easier for him to do because he's a 6'5" man,
yeah.
big bag of bones.
Do you think that it should have been, they should have said no contest? Well, if they said that, what would have happened if they said no contest?
Don't quote me on this, but I think what happens is I think you've got to go past 4 rounds, and then if you go past 4 rounds, they see who's ahead on the scorecards. But if it's before 4 rounds, then it's just a no contest, and everyone goes home. And unfortunately, I think there was a bit of a situation whereby it had been so hyped up and all the TV networks were there and so much was spent commercially on it that they almost felt obliged to continue and keep going with the result.
Yeah,
All the referees and the powers that be. So had that just been a regular fight and they not been big names, they
Mm,
might have called it off when it happened.
mm. But
Yeah.
I mean, it would, like, in hindsight, it would have been better to have a no contest than this result, because a no contest would have been a definite rematch and no loss for Tszyu. But you just,
Yeah.
but at that stage, even we were like, "Oh, keep going, you can do this." But then it got in his eyes, and you're just like,
Yeah.
"This is not
But
working."
it becomes a pride thing for these fighters. They're
Mm,
like, no, I'm here now. And
mm.
one thing that we don't realize from the outside looking in is they've spent a full 12 weeks, a
Yeah.
full 3 months training hard day in, day out,
Well, it
day
feels
in,
like
day out.
even more than that for Tszyu, like going all the way over there and
Yeah.
and
And
missing
you
this
got to
fight
watch your
and this one falling
diet.
over, and yeah.
So I guess there's that part of you that goes, no, bugger it. I'm here now. It's been a slog to get here. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
And then you've also got to realize this is that one thing that doesn't get mentioned is if Tszyu backs out and says to the ref, I can't see, and they call off the fight,
Yeah.
then he gets a whole heap of backlash, whether it's fair or not, from the
Yeah.
fans and media are like, oh, he backed out when
Yeah.
the going got tough. And sometimes it's not fair, but
Yeah,
boxing
but
is
like
like
not
that.
fair, but also you can argue if you can't see, you can't see. Like in
I
name a
agree.
sport that you can keep
Yeah.
going if you can't see. Like,
Yeah, no, I perfectly agree with that. But unfortunately, in boxing,
mm,
the media and the fans are tough. They're like vultures. Even though they're not getting hit, they'll run with that narrative.
mm.
It's just one of those can't win situations. And
Well, let's just hope that there's a rematch. I feel as though Fundora will give one because he announced there was a rematch clause before it, and there was even
I
talk.
think,
I think so too. It will be there, or like, in Vegas or somewhere. And that fight would have got heaps of views and press. Like it would be successful from a um eyes watching it point of view, people paying point of view. Um, so
I think you'll be obliged to do it because
mm,
one thing that people don't realize is Pandora was coming off a loss into
yeah,
this.
yeah,
And who he lost to
mm.
was Brian Mendoza, who was
Zoo one,
Zoo's last opponent.
yeah,
And the only reason Fundora really got the fight was he was already in training camp
yeah,
and on the undercard of this fight.
yeah,
So he got bumped up because of Thurman's cancellation.
yeah,
Uh, and you know what? Also, even though the cut changed the entire complexion of the fight,
yeah,
I don't want to take too much away from Fundora's
yeah.
win because he
I
deserves
mean,
credit.
he could have won that without that cut. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he could have,
If he
but
just fought like that, it's not impossible for you to say that, maybe if he stayed back and did what he did, Zoo wouldn't have got him, you know?
yeah, like there is that argument, and
Yeah.
there are a number of arguments. There's also arguments that if Zoo could see out of both eyes, he
Mm.
would have been able to see what he was doing,
Yeah.
move, set feints, set traps, slip and
You'd think
dip
so,
under.
yeah.
Whereas I think for a lot of the fight, he's pretty much with some of his punches he's guessing where Fundora would be. If you
Mm.
can imagine blood running into your eye all the
And
time,
not
there are
just that,
moments
but
where you just couldn't
he kept
see.
wiping his eye, like
Yeah.
which takes away so much
Oh,
time
heaps.
and his attention. Like his, you know what it's like when you've hurt yourself. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to think about anything else. You
He
know,
was horribly compromised.
yeah,
I
horrible.
had blood. I've had blood run into my eyes when I played footy, and
Yeah.
I kept on having to wipe my eye, and all I
Yep.
could see every 2 seconds was red.
And
So I could only imagine if you know you were
Yeah.
on the receiving end of
what about
copping
that bit where
punches
blood went on the camera? Remember
on
that?
the camera. Yeah.
That
Oh
shows
yeah,
how
yeah.
much of a the
Mm.
the whole bloodbath word is overused.
Mm,
I know, but it really was. It was just
it
blood.
really was. But
Um,
I've also got to give credit to Fundora for his intelligence, because as soon as that cut open, he's like, right,
right.
all we're doing for
Game
most of the
change.
fight now is just jabbing the hell out of that.
Yeah, and
Just
it
jabbing the
really
hell out of
worked.
the head. And
So,
you didn't even need to hit it on the cut, because the
yeah,
cut was so deep
yeah.
that every time the head was jolted, more was just going to come out.
It's going to take
Uh,
ages to heal a wound like that. Ages.
well,
Um,
and here's an interesting thing that you might not know. They
mm,
had him Kostya, not Kostya. They had Tim
mm,
Tszyu in the post-fight press conference,
mm,
and somebody asked him. They said the media and certain people
mm,
on the ground level were saying that the substance that you used, or the Vaseline, wasn't the real McCoy, wasn't up to scratch for what you should have been using for fights.
yeah.
Do you have any comment on this? And he says, I have no comment on the situation.
Uh,
So that's really unprofessional if you've gone into a fight and you don't have all the right equipment around you
yeah.
to fix it. And I'm not saying that anything would have changed, but it's just a little thing whereby more I'm saying is that you've sort of really got to leave no stone unturned when it goes into these big
Yeah.
fights
Yeah.
in preparation. It's just unfortunate. And there's a part of me, I know he didn't take him lightly, but I saw Tszyu in a few interviews saying what could come next. And there was a potential fight with Terence Bud Crawford, which would have been massive,
Mm,
like enormous.
yeah.
And part of me wonders whether there was a bit of him that put the cart before the horse and wasn't completely focused on his opponent. I'm sure he's focused, but it's hard not to when there's so much at stake and you sort
Yeah.
of buy into the hype and the bright lights.
Mm,
Because, yeah, he'd be terribly disappointed tonight.
yeah. Yeah. How frustrating. How frustrating. Well,
Oh,
what I think will happen, there'll be another one, and Fundora will watch that, knowing that luck was on his side, and he may well have not have won without that.
yeah.
Well, it was a
He
bit of
may
a
not.
freak thing for it to
I
happen,
mean,
you know.
he may not, and he may have. The one thing that I'm frustrated is that everyone was robbed of a fair fight. So we
Mm,
actually don't know how it could have or would have panned out. Like either guy could have won,
mm.
but after that cut, it was like sort of driving a Formula One car with 3 tires instead of
Yeah,
4.
yeah.
You know?
Or driving a Formula One car with a half, something in front of a driver's visor, even worse.
Yeah,
I don't know,
100%.
which
Because he
is
couldn't
actually worse,
see.
more dangerous. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I
Driving with
don't know.
3 wheels is pretty dangerous, I guess,
Yeah,
too.
neither is good. I think I'm
It
going
is
for
good.
whatever's on the windscreen. I think
Yeah.
missing a tire pretty bad.
Missing the
But
tires.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Both you stuffed. You can't see.
oh,
You only got 3 tires.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'll
So
just have
I
to
guess
rebuild and
you have to rebuild, and hopefully there's a rematch. Let's say there is a rematch and Tszyu smashes him. Okay,
yeah,
possible. Yep.
yeah,
I think highly possible there's a rematch. Highly possible. I'm
yeah,
gonna say that. I'm gonna say I'm very confident there will be a rematch. It just seems like
yeah,
Fedora is that type of person that would do that.
yeah,
Being given that shot,
yeah,
do off a loss, only 12 days to do it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like to
yeah,
put it together. And then let's say Tszyu wins, hands down, smashes him the next time. Will there be a third? And could he bring him to Australia? I think that would be awesome. You know, if he beats him in the second one, to bring him to
Yeah.
Australia for a third, I think that would be exciting and people would like
Yeah.
that, because this is it, as I said before, huge, very
Yeah.
really interesting, edge of your seat shit. This, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think Tszyu wants to stay in America for as long as he can, just for a while,
Yeah.
to build his profile and to sort of make more money. But I mean, in saying that, this was hugely disappointing for him because it was his first fight there. He really, really needed to win this to gain massive momentum and clout and
Yeah.
a brand for his name. It
Yeah.
just sort of, but you know, he'll have to come again. It'll just be harder now
Yeah.
to get where he wants to get and be where he wants to be. But I guess that's a fight in itself. And if he's worth his weight in gold, he's worth his salt as a fighter, he'll get there. So yeah.
It's not over for him with this, definitely.
No, it's not over for him. But yeah, certainly some soul searching and rebuilding, and
Yeah.
we'll just as I guess it's a case of watch this space.
Yeah. And the next fight, like that rematch, could be, oh, you think it'd be way more than 3 months. You think it'd be 6 months with that.
Probably about 4 or 5, probably about 5 months.
Well, that's a bad injury. I really, really think that could, you know,
Yeah.
that
I
could
guess
be
we'll just have to wait and see. We'll
yeah.
have to wait and see. I mean, Fundora might even go, well, bugger it. I don't have a big cut. I'm pressing on without you. And
Yeah.
you can't hold that
Yeah.
against him because,
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
it's not his job to wait for Tszyu for the rest
Yeah.
of his life either,
Yeah.
even though we want him to.
Yeah.
He's more than entitled to take something else, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see what
that
happens.
might happen. He might just have another go in 3 months. He might have a go against what's it called that he lost to? That's
Mendoza.
yeah, Mendoza.
Well,
That's a big draw card
finally,
that he's got the belts now. Mendoza would love that, you know.
the only thing
Mm.
that might stop that you may or may not realize, Mendoza filled in for Fundora on the undercard,
Yeah,
and Mendoza ended up losing on points. So that fight is now probably off the table
because
because
Mendoza.
people will be going, well, Mendoza's coming off a loss.
Yeah, you know what? But from his point of view, Fundora,
Yeah,
like he's like,
it's a
well,
gap.
I've lost to this guy.
Yeah,
I've got the belts. I want to, you know, put it to bed and beat him now.
it could happen. It could happen. So
Fighters do
we'll see
that,
what happens.
you know.
Yeah, there's a lot to sort through.
Mm.
There's a big spanner in the works because no one was expecting today's result. I think 90% of people were just expecting it a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
Commentators, boxing pundits, supporters,
Yeah,
they just didn't see it coming.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that's life.
That's life.
It is.
We'll just there's some big fights coming up, you know, in a couple of
Yeah,
months,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I'm
We've got your mate
looking
Fury.
forward to
Yeah.
Fury and Usyk, 18th of May. Well, I think it's 19th over here, 18th because it's in Saudi.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
that'll be
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh mate, that's the one I'm really looking forward
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Usyk is now the betting favourite, so
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. That and
Yeah,
heavyweights are always more interesting, you know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
really
yeah.
like it watching it in Australia in the daytime. I think it's just
Yeah, it's good. It suits everyone. And
yeah. At the start, I
Yeah.
kind of didn't because I was like, oh, you know, my heyday of watching a lot of boxing was watching in the UK.
yeah,
When we'd watch it at, you know, it had started like midnight, but I was like 20 years younger then, and I
Mm. yeah,
could stick the
yeah.
piss.
Yeah.
And by midnight would just be tanked, and
Yeah.
would just
Right now you're falling asleep by 8 o'clock.
yeah. I can't watch something at midnight, you know.
No, me
midnight.
neither.
There's no
No,
midnight.
I'm probably reaching for extra strong double shot coffee by 7:30 in the
Yeah,
evening.
no.
you
So
know.
the next
Mm.
day, watching it in the day, like today, it kicked off at 1,
Yeah.
or even later, 1
Mm.
p.m. So just after midday. That's more me now. That's more me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Fury in the day, we can come here again. We'll invite more
Although
around.
it is in Saudi Arabia, so I think that.
Oh,
Oh, actually, you know what?
yeah.
Starts in the morning, but last time they had something in Saudi Arabia, I think the main event was at about 11 o'clock in the morning, which is
Yeah,
fine.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And I mean,
But
Sunday between, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. is the same. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And not much luck in the rugby league for
Yeah.
us either with the Sea Eagles. Oh, it's just
Just
so
annoying.
they
You know?
played terrible.
Yeah.
Could not hold the ball.
Yeah.
15 handling errors in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
You can't win a game like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I'm not willing to write them off, but that was the worst I've seen them play in at least 6 or 7 years.
yeah. Yeah. It was where was that? Where did that shit come from? You know?
Oh,
I
it's
actually
just
think
it's
that was
horrendous.
there's no excuse for that. At least Tszyu, you can say he had fucking
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
see. Manly were just shit, you know.
Well, and then we play Penrith coming up this week,
Good.
which
I'm
is
really happy we're playing Penrith, you know.
yeah, good. But you know
Playing them
what?
at
I'm kind of
home and we're playing Penrith. I want it. I'm really,
I'm,
really
I'm glad we had I'm glad we had the terrible performance before the Penrith game. We
yeah,
had have played like that against Penrith, they would have hung 50 on us.
yeah, yeah,
But now they'll be like extra revved up.
yeah,
But the whole competition is very close now.
yeah, yeah,
No side is undefeated now
yeah,
because the
yeah,
Broncos knocked off the Cowboys.
yeah, yeah, and smashed them.
Oh, smashed them.
Smashed
Yeah,
them.
they did.
I
They
want to watch. I
did.
watched the Sharks who lost to the Tigers, beat
Uh,
Canberra. They're just
the Canberra. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was good.
Yeah, what a comeback. Like what a difference 1 week makes.
Yeah,
Sharks get smashed by the Tigers and then they come out and smash the Raiders.
yeah, yeah. It's no team's just been solid, consistent, and I like that. You know.
And so do I. That's why you got a salary cap.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, the funny thing is the Dolphins are on top of the
Yeah, I saw
table.
that too.
Yeah,
Dolphins
isn't
are on
that
top.
crazy?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Dolphins are
fine. I
on
mean, they
top.
have had a bye, but hey, they're still on top,
They're on top, and that
which is
wasn't
good.
that good. And they beat the Titans, who are
Yeah.
on the bottom, and it's
Mm.
they've got 2 points, but Titans have got 2 points because they had a bye. They
Yes.
actually haven't won. So how long
Poor
before?
Titans. Like, oh mate, the Titans are terrible at the moment.
Yeah,
In in fact, I've got a segment now called "Do It for Des,"
do it for Dave.
and
Yeah,
every week I'm going to bring up some stats, and they might get longer and longer, and I want Des to win so that these statistics stop.
yeah.
So let me tell you the statistics
Do it
right
for
now.
Des. Do it for Des.
Desmond's last win, Desi Hazler, last win was on July the 16th, 2022. Des Hasler has gone 624 days without a win.
Oh my
He's
god.
had 10 straight losses and a bye.
Oh,
Do it for Des.
do
Come
it
on,
for Des.
Titans.
Come
Lift
on,
your
Des.
game.
I wanted
Do it
Titans.
for
I told
Des.
you last week. I want Titans to do well because of Des.
Yes.
Sold his house on the Northern Beaches. He's moved to the Gold Coast,
Mm.
and things should be good when you do that. You
Yeah.
know.
I don't want to be here next week saying it's 631 days and 11
I
losses
think you
and
will
one
be.
bye.
I think you will be.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, it's not looking good for him.
And I do
Which
have other news, and I know it's a bit of a mad one sport, but the the Australian Basketball League,
Oh God.
NBL.
Yes.
Know who won it?
Did the Jack Jumpers win
The
it?
Jack Jumpers won it. I wanted
And it
to
was the final.
in the final. So I
Wow.
do like it. They play 5. So they won 4
Mm.
out of 5. And it was close. I was looking on my phone and I text Bobby, who who lives down at
Yeah, yeah,
in Tasmania. I'm sure he doesn't give a shit. But
yeah.
I like Tasmania in sport. Okay. You know that.
You know the tragic thing about this though?
the Jack Jump.
Tasmania finally win a competition that
Yeah.
absolutely nobody gives a sloppy shit about.
But that, like, I
That's
would have
what's the
watched it,
tragic
honestly.
thing.
I would have watched it. I really would have. But good on him.
But maybe in Tasmania they think that NBL is big because they're so isolated.
You possibly, but it doesn't matter. The fact is that they've finally Tasmania has won.
I guess you could say they're on the map.
They're on the
They're
map.
finally on the
They're on
Yep,
the map.
beautiful.
I remember
Yeah.
listening to a thing on the radio, and this guy collected stuff of, merchandise where they'd taken off Tasmania, and he's like, got
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like that often, Tasmania gets forgotten on this and that.
There
But
there
yeah,
was a
they're on the map.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they are
There
on
was a
the map.
situation like that in the 80s where there was a Commonwealth Games and someone was holding a map, a flag, and it had a map of Australia. What did they leave off? Tasmania.
Tasmania. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not talking about a small place here. It's physically
No.
huge, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just small population. And well, here's a question. Okay, so they've won the NBL. Good on them. Are you happy?
Yeah.
I can't name any.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Tasmania.
I didn't know until you told me. I
Oh,
only
okay,
heard that the NBL finals were on because I heard it in the background on the radio the
that's
other
right.
day. Yeah.
But secondly, Jack Jumpers as a mascot, awesome.
Mm. It's different.
It's different. It's awesome. It suits basketball. They jump, okay, and
Yeah.
it's a native Australian animal, being the ant from Tasmania.
But no one's getting intimidated by an ant, with all
Wait,
due respect.
what about the most venomous ant in the world?
The
Come
size
on.
kind of takes the intimidation factor off the whole picture. It really does.
No, I actually think, like, have you ever been stung by an ant? Like, serious, like these jack jumpers, I've never seen one, but we've all seen bull ants, and you see a bull ant, you're like, whoa, dude, I'm not going anywhere near that thing. Like, they are
Mate,
scary,
in a game of in a game of narratives where you're giving me a buy, sell, or hold,
Yeah.
I'm definitely selling on your narrative.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, okay, it's native. It works with the jumping and basketball, and it's venomous.
Yes,
Boom, I like it.
it's
Um,
different.
I did
Hey,
hear
I've got.
too. Yeah, tell me.
Sorry,
You first.
I've got a game to play with you with buy, sell, or hold.
Yeah.
Either you buy into the narrative, you sell because you don't believe in it, or you hold because you'll have to see down the
Well,
track.
I'm buying with the jack jumpers. They've
Uh,
just won.
You're buying with the jack jumpers. Here's
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah.
Titans to get the wooden spoon. Buy, sell, or hold.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they're gonna get it. Like, are they gonna get a win this year?
So you've got to say buy, sell, or hold. So you're going to say buy.
Yeah, definitely buy. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Panthers to win 4 straight premierships in a row.
No. Sell.
I'm going.
I don't think they will look over. I think they'll be up there, but I just don't think they've already had a loss, and they've lost a lot of their good players. I don't know.
For the Titans to get the spoon, I'm with you. I'm going buy.
Yeah.
For Panthers to win 4 straight, I'm saying hold.
Yeah.
I can't rule them out because they're so good and so professional. But by the same token, I'm not willing to say yes, because there's nothing like the hunger from other sides
Yeah.
who are trying to win it. They've won 3 in a row, and I don't care
3 in a
what
row.
people say.
They've fucking had enough. I'm sick of these
I
fucking
know.
excuses.
Me
Fuck off.
too.
You've
But
had
I
your
don't care
fucking
what
3 in a
people say.
row.
Yeah.
Fuck off back to fucking shit Penrith. That's
No,
what
nothing compensates for that bloody extra hunger that other sides will
Yeah.
have to get there.
Yeah.
They've already experienced it. I hope that Penrith don't get it as well.
Yeah, I really do.
I've had enough. It's too much.
Sick of it, you know.
Manly to make the 8.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh,
I know even losing today, I
hard.
reckon Manly can still do it because we've got the players and we've seen Manly get their shit together. I mean, really, we should have won, you know, a week ago. I don't know what happened yesterday, but we should have won a week ago. So, yep, Manly can win
It's
the
a
8.
buy for you. Yep,
Yeah,
it's a buy for you.
yeah,
It's a buy for me as well.
yeah. Manly can get the 8. Yep.
Provided we keep Turbo and
Yeah,
Cherry Evans
yeah,
uninjured.
I wanted to
If
say that.
if they
Yeah,
get injured, it's like Timmy Tszyu getting that big gash on top of his
yeah,
head, and we're in
yeah,
a world of
yeah.
trouble. The
Yeah.
tires start spinning then. Here's an interesting one. Buy, sell, or hold.
I
They're
like this
talking.
segment. This is a good idea, Drew. Buy, sell, or hold.
It's
Yeah,
not bad.
yeah, it's good.
So
I buy your buy, sell, and hold segment. I
yeah,
buy.
I will admit it's not original. I've heard it before
Oh, yeah.
on sports shows and
No, but
whatnot.
that who cares?
But it is good.
It's
We're
good.
underdogs, so we got to scavenge what we can.
Yeah.
We got to take whatever we can.
You
Buy,
take
sell, or hold. The NRL is thinking of getting for its expansion team, because I need to have an expansion team
I like it.
because there's a buy happening. So but my buy, sell, or hold is they're thinking of having a second New Zealand team
Yeah.
as the extra team. Buy, sell, or hold.
You know what? I think rugby league is really focusing on Polynesia, on New Zealand, you know, and I think because of that, like, I think it'll happen. I really do. And these Kiwis are actually growing up now, the kids, and they want to play for the Gold Coast Titans. They want to play for the Warriors. They want to play for Brisbane. They don't want to play for the All Blacks as much like they used to. It used to
So
be
is that a
all
buy
Blacks.
for you?
Yeah, because of that. Because of NRL putting money at, you know, Tonga, Samoa, the New Zealand, you know, like that whole area. And the way to do it is to create some competition and more teams there. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm actually going sell on this one.
Well, where else are they going to do? Where else do you think is the next team?
Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you why I'm saying sell. Because over the years, the Warriors have had a couple of boom seasons here and there, but for the most part, and they're starting to get good now, but for the most part in their journey, I think they've been pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
And a little bit average and a bit below
They've been around a
par.
long time too, you know.
I never won a premiership since '95. I want to see them as a consistently good contender.
Yeah.
And the only thing they've been consistent at over the years is being inconsistent.
Yeah.
And for a New Zealand side, I want the New Zealand side to always be strong, or be as strong as they can and get the most out of their potential. I don't think they've ever done that. And I think to have a second New Zealand team, it would dilute those chances. I want New Zealand to be represented well on the table each year. And that's why I say sell.
They got enough players. They got enough good players to fill teams. They really
and
do.
that's it. Yeah, they do. But the counter argument to that is, if they've got so much talent in the country, wouldn't you be better off putting it into the one team rather than diluting the talent over there and spreading it over two?
Yeah, it'd be really interesting having, you know, two teams there. Like, it'll actually help help rugby league expand there so much more. I really
It would
do.
be interesting. The
Mm.
thing I like about this is you've gone buy and I've gone sell. I don't know who you would have as the 18th team. Maybe another Queensland side. I know they've got a
Yeah, they
few
want
now.
that. They're pushing that, aren't they?
So I guess the other
The
opportunity
Central Coast, are they throwing their hat in the ring, or Papua New Guinea? God, imagine that. The Papua New
well,
Guinea.
what there has been discussions about in Queensland is having Rockhampton as a side
Yeah, wow.
because
Yeah.
it's not quite as far obviously up as North Queensland, and it's somewhere in the middle.
But do
between
Cowboys
where
play in
the next
Rockhampton?
ball is.
Do they have games there?
No, it's always at Townsville.
Okay, yeah.
So
And that's no close area, that. Yeah.
to me, that's not. I don't think that's going to work. I just, from a political and logistical standpoint, having a
They
side over
just
there,
got the
I don't think
fucking
they've got the
Dolphins, those
funds.
Queenslanders. They don't need another one, you know?
No, it's just hard to get. Oh, yeah. I mean, you raise a good point with your buy to have another New Zealand side.
Yeah.
I just, outside
Like
of that,
the
you also
sign of
raise
a
another good point.
healthy
Where do you put the
sport
other side?
is a
Yeah.
good derby. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
Sydney just had one team for,
yeah,
the soccer.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
soccer sucks, but it's so much better now that there's
yeah.
derbies. Speaking of soccer, not that I watch it much, but I did see Adelaide beat Wanderers, is it? Yeah, Adelaide beat Wanderers. Don't know if you saw it, but a guy got a hat trick, which is exciting enough. But when his what's it called, post goal celebrations, is that it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
guy was just flipping, man. Honestly, like, he was acrobatic, and he's going to Germany
Yeah.
and sign somewhere else. But I was like, wow, this guy makes soccer watchable. I know that's hard to,
Yeah.
soccer and
Yeah,
in the same
that's for
sentence.
10.
Difficult, but yeah,
That's for 10 seconds of a 90-minute game.
not even 10
But
seconds.
hey, it's
5
better
seconds
enough.
tops.
5 seconds for
Like,
a
not just
90-minute
one flip,
game.
he'd like do that flip, 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 and you just be like, wow, that's why I watch this shit. The guy can flip.
Yes.
Yeah, worth
Oh
watching.
God.
Really. Worth watching.
We never fail to show how much we dislike soccer
No, we got to
each and
get
every
this
week.
bloke on to talk about soccer. But
I know, for soccer fans.
just to sum it
We're
up,
trying.
Drewy,
Yes.
we got one more minute. Sum it up.
Okay. Disappointing weekend.
Your
but
disappointing
what are you gonna
weekend. Firstly, Manly, summing up in one word, just fucking, you just suck, Manly. Get back to basics. Get a win in Brookie, and all will be forgiven. Yeah.
It was just a bad day at the office. One of those days
Zoo,
where
sum up Zoo. Go. Sum up Zoo.
he did his best he could, got hampered by an unfortunate injury. He won't take anything away from Fundora. He'll just have to rebuild and start again. And come back bigger, better, and stronger. Use this as motivation to do better.
Rematch
And
clause.
not that it was his fault, rematch clause, but let this be the motivation to get the very, very best out of your potential.
And one more thing, Drew. Tasmania, Jack.
The Jack Jumpers.
Jackie Jumpers.
Let's give them the Champion of the Week award.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Champion of the Week.
Champion of the week.
They're the unsung hero. They're the redheaded
Unsung hero.
stepchild or the ugly sister. So, they deserve some glow and some shine.
They'll be partying in Tasmania